is all the above, best believe we do it better. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. What up?
What's up, guys? It's your girl Angel Marie, and I'm sitting here with my co-host Kevin. And this week we have another special weekly rundown for you guys because I feel like it's been a while since we gave you guys a nice little rundown on what's going on in the world, and it's a lot.
A lot has happened.
We're gonna call it something special because we can't keep calling it the weekly rundown for YouTube's sake. So this week we are going to call our special segment "What's the Tea?" because we are gonna give you guys all the tea. That's me sipping.
So we have a theme for the What's the Tea rundown, and it's all about Backlash. So this is a Backlash countdown. A lot has happened just in the last week where people have said and done things where they've had to walk it back, or there's been a lot of backlash. So how about we hop into number one?
I'm ready. Let's get it going.
Number one, right here in Philadelphia, Philadelphia athlete Desean Jackson got a lot of backlash for a post that he made on Twitter. Is hours after an apparent Adolf Hitler quote was posted on his Instagram. I'm sorry, I said Twitter. Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver Desean Jackson has taken the message he shared down from the site, and he said it was taken the wrong way and he has no hatred towards anyone. ESPN reported that he posted two different pictures, one on Saturday and one on Monday, with positive remarks about Louis Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam leader, as well as pictures on his story feed of a quote that it's not actually a quote made by Hitler, but a lot of people attributed the quote to him, which says, "White Jews are accused of trying to blackmail America." He said, the quote claims he said, "They will extort America, and their plan for world domination won't work if the Negroes know who they were." So there was quite a bit of backlash from that comment for a number of reasons. One, the disparaging remarks about Jewish people in America. Also, the fact that the quote was attributed to Adolf Hitler, although it wasn't really him. A lot of people think he said that, so quoting Hitler or thinking you're quoting Hitler is never a good thing. And then lastly, a lot of people, obviously Minister Louis Farrakhan is a controversial figure in America as well, so quoting something from his speech or referring to the speech that he gave on July 4th caused a lot of backlash. So again, Desean Jackson apologized, but he says his whole purpose was to inspire and promote black unity and truth within the black community. How bad did he miss? And do you think his apology was sincere?
Alright, so a lot of questions you threw at me. So let's see. First, I'll say his delivery, he missed the mark 1000%. I feel like everyone knows anything having to do with Hitler is a big no-no, regardless. And Farrakhan, just all of that. And we have so much access to research and technology now. We're literally at your fingertips. Sometimes you don't even have to use your fingertips. You could just ask Siri. There are so many outlets for people to understand something. I hate when people say, "Oh, I didn't know," or "I didn't understand."
Ignorance is not an excuse anymore, not in this day and age.
It's too advanced at this point where it's literally at every turn you make, everywhere you look, there's always a outlet or something there for you to digest information. And I felt like he missed the mark and he was lazy in a way where and personally I feel like he could have possibly known what he was doing, but he just didn't think that he would get so much backlash. Obviously, with a whole bunch of other things that are going on in the world, he probably assumed that all eyes wouldn't be on him in that situation. And I feel like that was dumb on his part and he should have known better. And there was something else you asked me about.
Was his apology sincere?
I don't think so. I feel like even though he's black, he doesn't get a pass. Like, you just shouldn't be ignorant about anything, period. So I feel like to me, it's the equivalent of white people when they say something racist and they think it's okay until they get backlash, and then that's when they backtrack and try to apologize. So I just feel like everyone should think twice before they make a move, especially if you're in such a high profile position. You should understand what you're doing. And it's like, you can't really take back your words, because you did what you did, and if no one said anything, you would have still stood by what you said.
I agree 100%. A big part of the movement that we're seeing going on is that the black community, we're trying to make sure that we're holding people accountable for the things they say, for the treatment of black people in this country. But we also have to hold ourselves accountable as well.
Exactly.
And throwing disparaging remarks about other, ethnicities that are unjustified is wrong. So it's not acceptable on any level, like you said. And I always say, the great thing about social media is everybody's got a platform.
Yep.
The bad thing about social media is everybody's got a platform. So some people who are quick to tweet, post on Instagram without actually having knowledge, or even if they do have knowledge but don't really put a lot of thought into what they post and how it's going to be received, you end up with this kind of backlash. The interesting thing, the Eagles have responded, and they're in a very interesting situation, because back probably about 7 or 8 years ago, when their wide receiver Riley Cooper, if you remember, he's a white player. This was when Michael Vick was the quarterback. He was at a country western concert at the, I think at the Wachovia Center, and he was drunk, and in the parking lot, and one of the security guards, I think said something to him, or he said something to the security guard, and he was screaming while being filmed, "I'll fight every last N-word out here." So the Eagles, brought him in. They didn't fine him, or they fined him, they didn't cut him. The black players said, especially Mike Vick said, they support him, they forgive him, and he ended up getting another contract. So while everything Desean Jackson said was wrong in terms of the post, the Eagles have their hands tied, because if they punish him, then it looks bad because they didn't punish Riley Cooper, who did something very
just
similar.
Give him a slap on the wrist.
Exactly. So apparently he's got to, get some awareness, training, and talk to people. I don't know everything that's involved, but anyway, so that is the backlash. So we are just getting underway in the backlash. So keeping right in that theme, number 2 is Halle Berry. A CNN article indicated that after facing backlash on social media, actress Halle Berry announced on Twitter this past Monday that she's no longer considering portraying a transgender man in an upcoming film role. She apologized after discussing the role over the weekend in an Instagram live video, and she, in the video, said, "As a cisgender woman, I now understand that I should not have considered this role, and that the transgender community should undeniably have the opportunity to tell their own stories." She wrote that on Twitter. So, question I have for you, because we've seen instances where people who are not of a particular ethnicity play other ethnicities, and people often speak out about that. Even with, I believe, the movie that Kevin Hart was in, I forget the guy from Breaking Bad played a paraplegic, Bryan Cranston. And there were even people who were saying that he's not a paraplegic, so you actually should have gotten an actor who's a paraplegic to play that role. So in your opinion, can actors, because I guess that's what acting is, you're playing something that you're not, how far can we go in terms of actors playing something that they're not, or that they don't represent, without crossing the line of taking a role or robbing somebody who should have the opportunity to play that role? Or is it being blown out of proportion, or is there some legitimacy in there?
Honestly, I feel like for actors, yes, they're acting, but I feel like to the extent of if you're a normal person playing a psychopath, or you're playing a serial killer, that's where the acting portion comes into play. I feel like if they're portraying someone that typically doesn't get a role for that kind of,
or underrepresented?
Yeah, like the Nina Simone story where Zoe Saldana had accepted the role, and she's a light-skinned Afro-Latina. I feel like that they took away that role from a dark-skinned black woman who could easily resemble Nina Simone. So something like that. And then obviously with the LGBT community, a lot of those roles aren't really out there for those individuals as well. So I feel like that is something that should belong to a member of that community as well. So I feel like for Halle Berry to step down was an honorable thing. I feel like she shouldn't have even accepted it in the first place. But like everyone says, you learn and you grow and you take action on that. So for her to even step down, I mean, I feel like it was a good move on her part, and it allows for someone in that community to actually have that role where normally there's not too many roles out there for them.
So let me ask you, do you think there's a difference between, let's say if she was in a movie and the character was a transgender man, is it different of her playing a role in a movie where the character happens to be a transgender man? Or is it because this movie, the sole focus, the main purpose of this movie is to tell the story of a transgender man? Or is it the same either way?
I think it's because it's to tell a story. I feel like had she been in a movie where she's just playing a lesbian, fine, whatever. But I feel like after I read a little bit more into comments and how people from the community felt, I kind of understood it, because they're saying that you have something about like conveying the emotions and understanding the backstory of it all. So I get it. At the end of the day, I feel like it's a hit or miss with how important that, like with her situation is, but I get it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where I don't think she had any ill will or intention behind it. People called her out on it and she gracefully bowed out of the role, but I don't think her intention was, she probably had no idea that she was stepping into a territory that people would find offensive, but
yeah.
I guess you live and you learn.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, moving on to Kanye.
So knew this was coming.
It's been, yeah, you knew it was coming. It's been an interesting week for Kanye because he announced that he's running for president, but according to People magazine, his family is concerned that his bipolar disorder, which I guess he's been diagnosed with, that he's struggling with that again. So according to the quote, it said Kanye's been doing well for a long time. In the past, he has suffered both manic and depressive episodes related to his bipolar disorder, and right now he's struggling again, the source told People. His wife, Kim Kardashian West, who according to a source is in Los Angeles with their 4 kids while Kanye is in Wyoming, has been feeling worried about her husband's behavior. She's concerned, as well as her whole family. It's super stressful for her because Kanye is, at this point, according to the quote, very unpredictable. His episodes usually last for a few weeks and then things go back to normal, and she hopes that it will be the same this time. Days after announcing his campaign on July 4th, he doubled down on his intentions on running in 2020 despite significant hurdles such as getting his name on the ballot in some states. He's too late for a number of states.
Good.
And in an interview with Forbes, the magazine described the interview as 4 rambling hours. He claimed he was running with the campaign slogan, "Yes," and is a member of, or he wants to create a new political party called Birthday Party, because when we win, it's everybody's birthday. So I don't want to touch so much on the bipolar portion of that, because mental illness is a serious issue, and if he's struggling with that, obviously, we wish him the best. But he's got a lot of backlash from people for him announcing that he's running for president. He has announced that he no longer supports Trump, but people are angry, thinking that this is going to possibly take a portion of the minority vote away from Joe Biden, therefore giving Trump an easier path to gain re-election. So, are you in that camp where you feel that this is actually a danger to the chances of getting Trump out of office? Or do you just look at it as this is Kanye being Kanye? If he wants to run, let him run.
All right, so there's a lot of moving parts to this. I feel like, one, I feel like there's an underlining mastermind situation that Kanye is doing. A lot of people actually read a conspiracy theory that a lot of people believe that Kanye is causing this whole uproar as free promotion for him about to drop an album or some sort of project. They say whenever Kanye steps out and says something so wild and eerie, usually that's when his creative juices is flowing the most, and that's when he's about to drop an announcement for everybody that's completely opposite from what he originally announced. Who knows? That's the conspiracy theory that I heard. Also, I feel like him even trying to start a birthday party is stupid. And I feel like, even though he claims that he's not a Trump supporter anymore, I feel like they probably had some secret meeting where Kanye wants to easily bamboozle people and confuse them. Because I feel like people are heavily influenced a lot by celebrities. Hence why stupid Trump is in office, because a lot of people listen to him, and look at where we are now. Also, this is side note, not even what you've even asked me, but I always feel a little concerned or curious as to why whenever something concerns Kanye, it's always the entire Kardashian family that is involved with acknowledging or speaking with the press or people about how they feel and how it's affecting their family. And I get like his mom passed away, but I'm like, he never really talks about his other family, or the media doesn't even mention his actual family. It's always now tied to the Kardashian clan, which is weird.
Yes, but that's what they do though. The Kardashians, for whatever you want to take it as, they are masters of media. They always make sure to, whether it's good or bad, they live by the old adage, there's no such thing as bad publicity. There's no such thing as bad press. And I could see them wanting to make sure that they interject themselves into this. I could see them making sure that their voices are part of controlling the whole narrative. So I do want to say one thing.
Yes.
I don't attribute this to some, episode that Kanye is having of him announcing this, because I think as early as 2015, he announced that he intended to run for president at some point.
Yeah.
So this has probably been part of his master plan for what he wants to do down the road in his life for a long time. So
I don't support it.
I just think it's very strange that if you're serious about a presidential run, you don't do it 4 months, I don't know, what are we, in July, August, September, October, November. You don't do it 4 months before the election when the primary's already settled and you can't even get on the ballot in a handful of states. So I'm leaning more towards your thought that not necessarily a grand conspiracy, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some project coming out or something where he's going to announce something big. So
I guess we'll have to wait it out and find out.
More Backlash. Terry Crews. Oh, by the way, this is topic number 4. He, just this past Monday, appeared on CNN, Don Lemon's show, where he obviously was responding to more of the backlash, more of the criticism he received for a quote that he, or a tweet that he posted. I think it was a tweet. Might have been on Instagram too. So this past Saturday, he tweeted, "Are all white people bad? No. Are all black people good? No." A couple other lines in there. Then he also said, "Knowing this reality, I stand on my decision to unite with good people, no matter the race, creed, or ideology. Given the number of threats against this decision, I also decided I die on this hill," or this is the hill that I die on, meaning he's planting his flag there and he is going to stand by all of his comments. Don Lemon, in the interviews, asked him, why is it so important that he, quote, die on this hill? And Crews responded, "There are some very militant type forces in Black Lives Matter, and what I was issuing was a warning." He continued and said, "I've been part of different groups, and you see how extremes can really go far and go wild. When a warning is seen as detrimental to the movement, how can you ever have checks and balances?" He spoke about the Black Lives Matter movement and how he thinks its leaders, quote, view themselves as better, which echoes his earlier tweets last month in which he was slammed for claiming Black Lives Matter is black supremacy, or insinuating that. So I think we've spoken about him before. I just feel like I want to let you tee off. I'm not even going to ask you questions because as soon as I mentioned Terry Crews, you put your head down, rub your forehead. So I'm just going to let you have a stream of consciousness moment. Go ahead.
Well, it's just that everything that involves Terry Crews lately frustrates me, because I feel like with everything that's going on in the world, and for him to be a dark-skinned black male, he should wholeheartedly understand what is going on in the world. Because I'm sure prior to him becoming a celebrity, he's probably faced some sort of racism or discrimination or hatred just based off of him being a tall, muscular black man. I'm sure he's endured something where he can kind of understand and have empathy with other people who are going through these situations. So I feel like for him to downplay the Black Lives Matter movement kind of takes away from everything that the leaders, the activists, and just regular protesters, everyday civilians are doing, and he's making a mockery of it. And white people eat that up when they find that one black person who agrees with what they're saying and try to latch on to that and use that as fuel. So I feel like he's being a puppet in the game right now, where he's constantly feeding things. And part of me also believes that he's doing this for attention, because Terry Crews ain't really A-list celebrity all like that. He's not really known all through the press. The only time that he's in the media or on headlines is when he's talking about this. So I feel like it's like, all right, people are talking about me, getting it going. It might not be good press, but it's press. Like we said with the Kardashians. Who knows? But he always strikes me as an Uncle Tom type character. Because if you watch him, you don't watch too much TV, but on America's Got Talent, where he's the host, you just see him being a little bit too extra. And then a lot of people have been making jokes about his character, Latrell, when he was on White Chicks, and how he was a black man who pretty much treated himself as he was a white man. And a lot of people was like, maybe this is really who he is. Maybe he wasn't even acting the whole time. I don't know. But I feel like Terry Crews needs to cut it out. Someone needs to take his phone and put him in timeout for a little bit so he can self-reflect.
Yeah, my thoughts on Terry Crews. People have had that criticism of him where he's always dancing and you know, buck dancing, whatever, and cooning it up or whatever. I guess the question I have, because I tried to listen to what he said, and I don't see how it's warranted. He might be pulling out a few people who are, you know, calling for something more than equality, for something more than justice, but that's such a small percentage. He's issuing this warning as if this is a major part of the movement. I don't see it. I think he's calling out something that's not there. And again, he's free to say what he wants to say, but I just don't see the evidence for what he's warning against. The whole purpose of what we've seen that sort of really got catapulted with the murder of George Floyd was fairness, justice, equality, racial justice. So for him to think that it's swinging the other way, or he's trying to warn us from going that route, it's very unlikely. And I'm not saying anything's impossible, but it just doesn't seem to make sense, because it's not going anywhere towards that direction, and that's not what the overwhelming majority of people are calling for. So I don't understand his whole purpose in that, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what else he says, but he's gonna continue to, I guess, make these statements and these comments. So I'm sure we'll hear more from him.
Unfortunately.
And on to number 5. Oh boy, this one. It involves two people, 50 Cent and Lil Wayne. So, during the latest episode of Lil Wayne's Young Money Radio, 50 Cent went on a derogatory rant against black women, and he faced backlash, rightfully so, over his comments. So in the clip from the interview, which was posted on YouTube Sunday, July 4th, he claims that black women get upset with him for dating, quote, exotic women. He then proceeded to share why he prefers a certain woman or certain types of women. He said that blank looks a lot different from the blank you see in the neighborhood all the time. This looks like it comes right off the boat, something you just can't get. But they, meaning black women, get angry and ask, how did you end up with this mother effer? I'm like, huh? My instincts always make me defensive, so I look at it like this angry black mother bleeper. Get the F out of here, trying to F up the whole vibe. This is another one. I'm baffled by this. I just can't understand, especially when you're starting to see the black community is never going to be a monolith. We all have our different, ideologies, positions, beliefs, but we're seeing, I think, for the first time in a while, we're all pulling in the same direction for the most part. Different ideas, different strategies, different thoughts, but we're all kind of trying to pull in the same direction. So to make these kind of comments about black women, and then did you see the clip?
Yeah.
He's laughing, Lil Wayne's laughing. To me, that's enough that as, husband of a black wife, the son of a black mother, the father of black daughters, I'm done with these two. There's nothing that they can say at this point that would make me change my mind. I will not support anything they do. I would not purchase their music. To me, that crossed the line. We're starting to see, especially among black men, this sort of realization that Black women have stood by us, protected us, defended us, and not all black men, and there are plenty of black men who are doing right, but not in large enough numbers. We haven't supported black women the same way we've been supported. So to see two celebrities with these comments, it just disgusts me, and I'm through with them. I'm not a cancel culture person, as cancel culture as they call it, but to me that just crossed the line that they're dead to me.
I agree, and I feel like, especially Lil Wayne, it was interesting because his daughter Reginae actually spoke out, and she had posted saying, "I'm black, I'm beautiful, I love my skin color, blah blah blah." And it's sad because granted, after Lil Wayne had her with Toya, he went off and had babies with what they call exotic women who are non-black. So I feel like Lil Wayne obviously right now has a type where he's only been dating white women. 50 Cent is dating a black woman, Cuban Link. Granted, she's not the typical, what everyone say, like black woman features, I guess, whatever you want to call it. But it's sad. And I feel like it frustrates me the most that 50 Cent, of all people, is talking about or bashing angry black women, but he is like the epitome of an angry black man. It's like whenever you hear 50 Cent, he's beefing with somebody. Just recently in the headlines, he was shown at a restaurant in Florida throwing a chair at a guy. So it's just like, why can't someone defend black women for once? Especially with all of this going on. Granted, I don't even expect 50 Cent to defend black women at all. I don't even expect him to defend anybody because he's just day in and day out been disrespecting people, especially black women. He's always talking about people. And then in the comment section, when fans had reached out to him and tried to get him to apologize, he just started talking about them more. He was like, "Oh, go away, you angry black woman." So it's like he's still making fun of it. And he's too old at this point to not understand the trauma that he's using with his words, basically. I'm over it. Yeah,
no, I mean, at this point, when you see what he said, how he said it in the response, he's just lost. There's some people that we don't need to cast our pearls before swine. There's just no point. But like
he don't even love his own son, so I feel like I can't even listen or accept any words that come out of his mouth or take it seriously.
The thing that kills me too about this whole term exotic, first of all, I think it paints, when you use that term with women, it's borderline disrespectful because it's almost fetishizing. And exotic is like accents. If you go to another part of the country, where, say if you go to the South, you have the accent because you're in a place where everybody doesn't speak like you, so you have the accent. And that's the same thing with exotic. If you went to Japan, you would be exotic because it's not the norm. So the whole term exotic, it doesn't necessarily mean somebody's more beautiful than somebody else. It just means that, I guess, for the area you're in or the location you're at, you are not what the standard or the typical person looks like. So. And
he even said he wanted someone who's fresh off a boat. We came off a boat. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, everything about this is wrong. There's nothing at all that you can take from this that he can backtrack, and he never backtracks anyway. You saw what he did with Notori Houghton.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, the post that he made about her where she's a cast member, a black woman, a cast member on his show. You know, great actress, did a great job on that show. He just attacks needlessly. So I'm done with him. I don't want to see anything he's in. I'm to the point where if he's involved in the next Power, I won't watch it. What? I know you will. I won't.
Depends.
I can't support it.
These spinoffs don't look like it's great anyway, so.
I just can't. It just disgusts me. So, anyway, that's 50 Cent. And Lil Wayne, I don't want to let him off the hook either because he was sitting there laughing and yucking it up too.
Yeah, he could have stopped that, but I wasn't shocked that he didn't.
Yeah. So, to recap this What's the Tea rundown, number one was Desean Jackson received some backlash for disparaging remarks he made about Jewish Americans with a quote that was attributed to Adolf Hitler. Number two, Halle Berry apologized and backed out of a role playing a transgender man after backlash from the LGBT community and others. Number three, Kanye West received a lot of backlash after he announced that he was running for president. Number four, Terry Crews received backlash after additional comments on top of other ones he's made over the course of the last few weeks and months, disparaging the Black Lives Matter movement and indicating that many of the people are trying to promote and push black supremacy and that type of agenda. And number 5, 50 Cent and Lil Wayne received some backlash, primarily 50 Cent, for referring to black women as angry and glorifying foreign or exotic women while indicating that black women are just whatever you can get around here. Anyway, so that is the rundown, and as always, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the end of our segment, What's the Tea? So hopefully you guys sipped a lot of tea during that segment. And it's basically our weekly rundown where we let you guys know a lot of things that are going on in the world. And basically this was our
Backlash countdown.
Backlash countdown. If you guys like what you saw, definitely let us know by pushing that like button on our video. And if you guys, saw anything that was interesting, or if you heard anything that you want to chime in on, or something that just got you so angry in this whole bashing segment, definitely let us know in the comment section below. We would love to hear your thoughts. And as always, if you guys like what you saw and you want to see more from your favorite hosts, Angel and Kevin, make sure you push that subscribe button. That is how you stay up to date with everything that's going on in all of the above's world. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Is there anything that you want to add?
No, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, _all-of-the-above1, Twitter, same handle. Obviously you said subscribe to the YouTube channel. Did I leave anything out?
No.
Nope. Twitter?
That's everything.
YouTube. There you go.
Follow us, subscribe, watch, and love us. But as always, I'm your girl Angel Marie, and I'm sitting here with my co-host Kevin.
See you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Wednesdays at 7, Angel Marie and Kevin playing the illest records, bringing us back together. Philly is all season, storming through any weather, leaving the track bleeding. When we pull it together, we applying my pressure.